Today we're going to talk about a big mistake that a lot of resellers make, and frankly, a lot of people in life make. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about the 10 items that sold over the weekend. It was a decent weekend, a little slower than past weekends, but it was pretty good overall. But if it's your first time here, my name's Brian. I'm a reseller. I sell on eBay. I sell in the everything category. I go to estate sales, garage sales, and thrift stores, and I look for items to flip on eBay for a profit. That includes cookware, clothing, tools, just about anything you can think of that probably has profit attached to it. I'm trying to sell it on eBay. So we're going to get a little flavor of that today in the 10 items that we're going to go through. I'm going to talk about where I bought them and how much I paid for them, so you can see what kind of profit I'm making on these items on eBay. Before we get into that though, a big mistake that I'm going to encourage everybody to not make this mistake, do not do this, is to get discouraged, get overwhelmed, and just stop. Stop what you're doing, give up on your reselling business. Sometimes you need a break, that's for sure, but make sure the break is intentional if you're taking a break, if you're getting overwhelmed or you need to just clear your mind for a little bit. But blocking out your money mountain, the stuff you've got piled up over there waiting to get listed, and not paying attention to it isn't going to make it, isn't going to list it, by itself if you just walk away from it. If you're selling items and you're not making a lot of profit on it or you're losing money on it, do not let that discourage you. It's part of the process for resellers. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I've been selling for about six going on 7 years, but almost every week I'm selling something that I'm losing money on. It's not a lot of money, and we're talking dollars normally, or cents even. But there's bad buys that get made. Pricing shifts, and sometimes I lose money on items. And for me, that's okay. I know what to look out for next time. If I keep losing money on the same item over and over and over, I keep rebuying it, and that's a problem, obviously. But if I made a bad buy and I'm, getting it moved out of the store and getting some cash back in my pocket, I'm okay with that. I like to call that an eBay education. So it's not free. The eBay education isn't free all the time. Sometimes it's going to cost you in the form of, making a bad buy, but it's just part of the process. There are plenty of people. I was watching, gosh, I want to say it might have been Kevin, the Commonwealth Picker, who's been selling on eBay for like 20 or 25 years, talking about a bad buy he made where he was only going to make a couple bucks on it. And, and it was a fairly expensive item. I don't remember the full details. I just remember while I was listening to it, I was like, man, it makes me feel so much better about what I'm doing every day. Because he's somebody I would consider, at more of a kind of an expert level on a lot of things than I am, for sure. But, there's a great community on YouTube of resellers. And I know there's people on Facebook and Instagram, and make sure that while you're doing what you're doing, don't compare yourself to other people. Don't get discouraged because you're not doing as much as somebody else. Comparison is the thief of joy is something that I heard, and it's so true. So, and I've found myself in that situation. I found myself before thinking, man, I think I should be selling as much as they are. But, I look back on it, I'm like, well, I'm selling different items than they are. So it's just, you cannot compare your store, your sales to other people's sales. If you feel like you need to be selling more, dig deeper into your business. There's so much information out there. But just don't give up. Don't get overwhelmed to the point that you just, push it away and, put your business on the back burner. Unless it's something, again, that you intentionally say, hey, look, I'm going to step away from this for a week or two. I'm going to reset, relax, and come back refreshed and just, hit it really hard. So that's it. That might be a little bit more for me than everybody else. I don't know. But, sometimes I feel like I don't know that I'd say overwhelmed, but there's just so many things that go on in a person's life. And I'm like, okay, what am I not going to do? And I'm like, well, I don't really want to take pictures of shirts anyhow. So I'll not do that. And I'll go do this other thing and I'll put it on the back burner. But, another phrase that I love is the only way you can eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So if you have a whole pile of stuff to be listed, don't look at it and go, oh man, I'm never going to get that done. Just start with 1 item, 2 items, 3 items, and just every time you list an item and you think it's the last item, just tell yourself, just one more item. I'm only going to list one more item. And then when you list that one, just one more item until you just finally, you snap out of it and go, wait a second, I said I was going to do 5 items and I just did 25 items. But yeah, just stick with it. Just stick with it. And if you want to chat with people, there's plenty of resellers on YouTube. Reach out in the comments, chat with people, email people, and just there's people love this business, and I'm sure there's plenty of support out there if you need it. All right, enough of my soapbox speech. We're going to talk about the 10 items that I sold on eBay over the weekend. It wasn't as robust a weekend as I'd hoped for, given the week leading up to it. The week leading up to it was pretty good, and then just slowed down just a little bit going into the weekend, which is okay. Friday was pretty decent. Saturday was a little bit slower, and then Sunday I only had 1 sale come through. But I know in people's personal lives, there's also a lot going on right now. It's graduation time. It's people are going into the summer. There's sports. There's vacations to be, had and planned and all that kind of stuff. So I expect that, things are going to start taking a little bit of a dip as we get into the summer slowdown. But we'll see. Let's get into the 10 items. And I'm just going to go in the order that I sold them. So no, that's the order I go in. It's not based on profit or anything like that. The first item that sold was this Farberware. This is a 2-quart. This is a stainless steel with the aluminum clad bottom. It's a 2-quart saucepan. I picked this up at Goodwill for $2.89 plus tax. So I'm into it for $3.14. And I sold it for $12.21 on an offer. Farberware is a brand that I thought had more value. I've picked up a few pieces here and there. It's not done well for me. So I'm going to look and see. I've been selling more Revereware and other cookware in sets and see if there's more value to be had, or for me, if the profit's worth it, if I pick up 5 pieces, hold them back, and then sell a whole set. I still may not make the same profit margin, but could I sell, $75 sets of Farberware instead of $12 individual saucepans? So that's something I'm considering as well. I haven't done a lot of research there yet, but I'm going to get around to it. Yeah, that one's going out the door. Next item that sold is this 511 Tactical Conceal and Carry, Tactical Series Conceal and Carry shirt. So I picked this one up at Goodwill for $7.38 and sold it for $17 plus shipping on an offer. I'm finding that most 511 Tactical on the resale market isn't great for reselling. It's expensive if you buy it brand new in the store. If you buy that shirt brand new in the store, you're probably going to pay about $60 to $75 for it. So it's not even selling at half of retail. And they're a store that whenever the seasons come and go, they have very aggressive clearance sales. I've gotten some nice jackets and stuff from them for $25 that normally would be $125 to $150. So that may play into it. People, maybe they're waiting for those in-store clearance sales where they can try stuff on. But I'm finding that their pants just doesn't resell well. So it's a brand that I'll probably comp if I find some different type items, but you're not going to see a lot of it in my store. I do like the products though. I own a lot of their jeans are really, really nice. I own some of their shirts. The quality is really nice. I buy it all on clearance. I don't pay full price for any of that stuff. Yeah, so I think it's great quality. It's just, just doesn't resell well. All right. The next item was actually a pair of set of clothing as well, or a piece of clothing. These are Victos Apparatus Tactical Jeans. I had never heard of the brand. I saw it and I was like, that looks kind of cool. I picked these up at Goodwill for $10.23 because I saw comps, and I sold them for $54.89 plus shipping. So that's a good one. You know, whenever I've talked in other videos about staying curious and looking around for new brands, that was a totally new brand for me. I don't think I've ever seen it before. I haven't seen it since. This is the only pair that I know of that I've ever found. And, but it's on my radar now. It's in my, my brand Rolodex right up here, that if I see Victos, I'll be looking at it. So glad to see those go out the door. These next items I picked up just this on Friday, I think, or Friday. I picked up these Yeti little can koozies. They're brand new. They hadn't been used. The people that had them said, look, we have so many, like, this type of stuff, like, we just don't use it all. So we just decided to sell them. They still have the stickers on the bottom and everything, but I bought them for $8 for the pair. And I listed them for $19.89 plus shipping, because that's what I saw. About 20 bucks is what other sets of two are going for. And I think maybe I should have priced them up because of the colors, because I saw a lot of blacks and silvers, but those colors might have, you know, I don't know, because they sold in about 30 minutes. It could have just been timing, but they sold in about 30 minutes. So I listed them for $8, or bought them for $8, listed them for $19.89 plus shipping, and they went out the door. And then next, more clothing. These Ariat jeans. These are, like, I think the M5 rebar series. Excuse me. Ariat jeans are something that I'd pay attention to. I'd recommend paying attention to. Not every single pair is worth reselling, but a lot of them are. Brand new, they can be pretty expensive, over $100. And those I picked up for $10.23, and I sold them for $34.89 plus shipping. So typically they're going to go in that about $35 to $40 range for those jeans, unless you're getting like the FR, the fire resistant or flame resistant jeans, which will go for a little bit more money. But typically you can flip those into about $35 to $40. That particular style, all the sold comps I was seeing were $35, $35, $35, $35. I priced at 89s, so I put mine at $34.89 and got them sold. So not a huge profit from $10.23 to $35, but I knew it was going to sell fairly quickly. I think I've had them listed for about a month. So glad to see those go out the door. This next item, if I can figure out how to put a picture up here, I will, because I've got this thing all wrapped up, is to store it. This is a little, it's small, so you can tell, but it's a nativity set. They're little clay pieces of all the different pieces of the nativity set. I bought it before Christmas. Didn't sell during Christmas, but I bought it for $4 at a garage sale and ended up selling it on an offer for $15.90 this weekend. So usually if I'm walking around doing whatever, I'll just look at my phone about every 30 minutes to see if there's an offer to be sent. I saw that one pop up, sent the offer, and about 5 minutes later, they paid for it. So glad to see that one go out the door, out of season, which is fine with me, and decent little profit, $4 into $15.90 plus shipping. This next item I've only had up for about a week or so. This is a Society, is the brand. It's made by Regalware. It's an electric skillet. So I had to clean that bottom up quite a bit, but it looks pretty good. There's still a little bit of residue, but yes, I cleaned the heck out of it. It has the controller and the original instruction manual with it. This is a liquid core, is what it's called. So it has liquid in there whenever it heats up. It's kind of a gel, like you don't hear it slosh around, but whenever it heats up, you can definitely hear the liquid in there. And I tested it. got nice and hot right away, and it took quite a while for it to cool down. So, and this thing is beefy. I mean, that's got to weigh about 7-8 pounds by itself. 5 to 7 pounds, somewhere in there. But I priced it along with what other comps were selling for. I paid $8 for it at an estate sale, and I sold it for $39.89 plus shipping. And again, in about a week and a half. Glad to see that one go out the door. This next one is super cool. I thought about keeping it because I do have some collectible fishing items, but it wasn't mine originally, so it didn't make sense. But this Zebco 33 spin cast reel, this is brand new in the original box, in the original instruction manual. I picked it up at it said they had signs that said garage sale and estate sale, but it was at an estate sale, and really cool wood grain cardboard box. So I picked it up for $2. That's what they wanted. I said, what do you want for the reel? He said, $2. I was like, perfect. I knew it'd be worth more than $2. I wasn't sure how much. I had it priced up pretty high for a while and found out pretty quick that wasn't going to work, so I dropped the price down. I did send an offer out, and I sold it for $56.25 plus shipping. So $2 into $56.25 plus shipping. The next thing that sold is this set of Grand Hawk Tour XP irons. I've got the other half of the set here all bundled up already. I paid $10 for the set at a garage sale. Well, let me back up. I paid $15 for those in a golf bag. When I was at the garage sale, they had, it's a nice Ping Hoofer style golf bag, and these irons were in there, and the whole set was $15. I tried to talk her down to $10 because I thought the irons, I'd never heard of the brand. I thought it was just like one of those off-brand type things that, you know, maybe they're worth $40 for a set of irons or something used. And I was interested in the bag, and I was like, even for $15, the bag was worth it. I tried for $10. She goes, no, it's got to be $15. I said, okay. So I bought it, and then I comped the irons. I was like, holy moly. So they were selling, sometimes they were selling as high as 150. So I think I might have had them at 149, but I ended up sending an offer. There was 2 or 3 people that were interested. Somebody sent me a counter offer, and so I picked them up for $10 and sold them for $107.38 plus shipping. So I've got the bag still, but I've got $5 into the bag now is how I broke up the costs. The bag I think is worth probably about $60 to $80 depending, and I'm actually going to try to sell it on Marketplace locally first to see if I can get $75 cash for it before I list it on eBay. Probably put it up there for about a week or so. But yeah, it was a great sale on those irons. $10 into $107. I've had them up for about 3 weeks, and I don't know where they're shipping, but they're shipping for $14 on FedEx home delivery. So I do have a video that I'll put a link for down below in the comments or in the description that I go over how to ship golf clubs. It's really not that difficult at all if you're shipping, especially like a set of irons. But yeah, super easy to ship. And again, $14 to ship those wherever they're going. So, and then the last item, my wife picked this up, I think at an estate sale. It was $1. It's a milk glass. It's an old tobacco jar is what it is, with a blue lid. We had considered keeping it for us, which is actually why we bought it. And we decided, nah, I don't think we'll keep it. So I put it up on eBay. There was a bunch listed, and I ended up sending an offer, and somebody accepted it for $10.11 plus shipping. So I've got $1 going into $10.11 plus shipping. And that's it. That's all 10 items that sold. Nothing too crazy, but pretty decent weekend to end a pretty good week. If you have any comments or questions, please leave those down below. I'll make sure and get back to you on those. And until next time, have a great day.